So far in example 2, we have found f of g, g of f, and g of g. We have made 4 new functions from the original 2 functions, f of x, which is 3 over x minus 1, and then g of x is equal to 2 over x. Okay, there's a couple of more parts to this question. We've done the hard part, thank goodness. In parts E and F, we are evaluating our new functions. So we're taking one of our new functions and we're just plugging in a number to get an output. Okay, so if you take a look at part E, we're asked to find g of 1/2. Okay, so we need to go to the function g of g. Okay, we actually just did that in part D. Okay, so I'm looking at this box right here. Okay, we found that g of x is just the function x. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. G of x is just the function x. Okay, you do need to consider domain, because remember, when you're looking at your simplified composite function, what you can and cannot plug in is not always obvious. Okay, more so what you can't plug in, it may not be obvious. The domain says we can plug in any x value we want except for 0 here. Okay, 0 was the bad spot. So we're plugging in 1/2, because remember, if you rewrite this, this is really g of 1/2. So we're plugging in x equals 1/2 here. That's okay. Okay, the only bad spot is x equals 0. So we can go ahead and do this. Okay, g of 1/2, okay, is just going to be like the output is just going to be the x value itself. Okay, so it's going to be 1/2. Okay, that's it. Okay, all right. And then we could do the same kind of thing in part F. Okay, in part F, we're going to look at a different function. We're going to look at f of g. Okay, so this is f of g of 0. Okay, so basically we're plugging 0, x equals 0, into the new function, okay, f of g. Okay, so we need to go up to part A. That's where we did f of g. F of g is 3x over 2 minus x. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. F of g of x is 3x over 2 minus x. Okay, again, you've got to double check the domain here. When you look at the domain, 0 is a bad spot. Okay, it had 2 bad spots here, x equals 0 and x equals 2. So part F is asking you to go to this function f of g and plug in x equals 0. Okay, it looks like you can. If you plugged in 0 here, you'd actually get 0 over 2, which is 0, but you can't do that here. Okay, 0 is not in the domain of the function. Okay, so we're going to write that this is undefined. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, it's undefined, and let me put why, because x equals 0 is not in the domain of f of g. Okay, so when you're evaluating these composite functions, okay, you need to go to the composite function that you formed and simply plug in the x value to get an output. However, you have to be very cautious. You have to consult the domain because those, like I said, those bad spots are not obvious from the simplified formula.